Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today's reading is good news that is coming to you soon. So we have 3 piles to choose from today. Each correspond to the images that you saw on the cover photo. So we have group 1 with the scales of balance and the moon and the sun. Group 2 with the crown, and group 3 with the rabbit in the hat. So select the card or the pile that feels as though it's calling to you. If you do feel called to more than one, that's perfectly fine. You might even feel called to all of them. Watch them in the order and sequence that feels right to you. Take what messages resonate and leave the rest. And we'll see you in your readings. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose the scales with the moon and the sun there, this is going to be your good news. So let's find out what it is. I'm going to start from the bottom and we'll work our way up. You have imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspects of my life. So it looks like you're going to be getting some imaginative insight is what I'm getting here. Like you're going to be inspired. Your imagination and your creative inspiration are going to be off the charts, is what Spirit just said. And they showed me a bar graph in my mind with like a big rise, a big increase. So you guys are going to have a lot of new ideas. Wow. And it's going to nourish you from the inside out is what they're showing me. It's like it's feeding you, it's nourishing you, it's giving you this like spiritual food of the soul. Wow. Okay. So great start. Fabulous. That's really fantastic news. I'm excited for you guys. You have relationships. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. So this could actually have to do with relationships of all kinds. Let's get more information before I don't want to like assume anything here. You have luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius, and I'm taking all the cards upright today because it is a good news reading. So luck is on your side, group number 1. And I love Sagittarius here because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of luck and good things and blessings. It does bring good news. And I'm seeing this arrow in, this bow and arrow in this card, and it's reminding me of the scales. So it feels like there's something to do with balance. It's like you need the balance between the two sides to be able to pull back and launch this intention, this action, this new imagination or creative pursuit. And luck is on your side with that. We have, wow, prosperity lies ahead, new moon in Taurus. 2 new moon energies here in your reading. So this is a fantastic new beginning. And like I was seeing before, it's like creative insight or creative birth or rebirth in your life. And the new moon in Taurus, like it says, it's prosperity. So it's very tangible. It's very physical. It's something that you can touch and feel and interact with. And it can be money, but it can also be other forms of luxury or other forms that matter can take that bring you a sense of comfort and luxury. You also have a trine, angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. So trines are that 120-degree angle between planets in the chart, and astrologically, they do bring a lot of support. And I'm feeling as though the support here is, again, it's going to be in the realm of imagination and how you create. And what you create is what they just said too. Yeah, you're getting support here. Angelic support and imagination and inspiration really do speak to me of the angelic realm or the spirit realm in general. I always say, inspiration is in spirit. It's spirit within. So when we're inspired, it's because we're channeling more of our spirit. And it's through that spirit that we're able to connect to the higher realms, which is what the imagination really is. We're taught when we're young that imagination is fake. It's not real. I truly have had to decondition myself from that and learn the opposite to be true, especially working as a professional medium and psychic, doing readings for people, for myself, for you guys as well. Imagination is a conduit to the spirit realm. And it's through the imagination that we bring through information. And yes, we can create information through that, but we can also receive and download information as well. And I think that there's actually sort of two sides to that same energy, where even if we're creating something, we're in a way, we're channeling it. We're just kind of putting our spin on it, our creative lens on that already available information. So you're in perfect flow. You're bringing this in because you're in alignment with yourself or with this idea or whatever it happens to be. You also have the 5th house, passion, play, confidence, children, and creativity. So again, creativity really standing out here. You're going to feel very passionate, very playful. And I think that's what's going to allow this imagination to come through. When are we the most imaginative? When we're children. We are just by nature that way. And it's through sort of the indoctrination that the world imposes on us at a fairly young age that we start to move away from the realm of imagination. And I can tell you that doing this work, like I was saying, it has brought me back to my own imagination, and it has rekindled within me that childlike perspective where you can really look at an ordinary world and see something extraordinary because you're seeing through the eyes of spirit. That's what children do. They see through the eyes of spirit because they have just come from the spirit realm. They are closer to it. And that doesn't mean that as we age, we get further away from it, but we certainly can. But it's always there. It's within us. We can find our way back to it. We just have to unlock that key and open that door. All right, let's see what else you have. House 12. Yeah, this 12th house to do with spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So the 12th house is rediscovering your psychic abilities, your imagination, your spiritual self. And it is through the subconscious mind, I think, that a lot of these imaginations and this support and this flow of creativity is going to come in. And it may spark something in relationships. Now I'm starting to feel that energy come in because the card's here, but I wasn't feeling the energy of it until right about now. So there's something to do with the relationships and how they relate to your subconscious, to your imagination, to your spirituality. Let's find out more. You have fire, confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. And this is reminding me of the Ace of Wands right away, like that candle there in the heart. It's reminding me of the Ace of Wands, which speaks of a new passion, a new project, a new inspiration that kindles within you that fire to create. And fire is a very creative energy. So I feel like it's passion and it's creative expression through imagination. But I'm feeling there's something kindling here in regard to love, in regard to even possibly sexual passion. But I'm still unsure of how this is all working together. So let's keep looking at your cards here. You have the 5 of Coins. Okay. You have the Queen of Wands. All right. Queen of Wands definitely speaks of creativity, creative expression, inspiration. And it's like, I feel like the good news is that you're going to receive some kind of real tangible support to be able to implement some kind of a project. Let's say you have an idea, you have this inspiration that comes in and you're like, how am I going to implement this? What do I practically need to be able to make this a reality? Do I need the supplies? Do I need the funding? Do I need the time? Do I need the, what other resources you need to be able to make this happen? I think that the good news here is going to be involved with something coming in to support you in making this dream a reality, really is what I'm feeling here. Okay, let me just move things around a little bit here. There we go. I just want to be able to fit all your cards in. You have the Page of Wands. So passion really coming through strongly here. Fire. These Wands cards are fire, and you have the fire element here too. So yeah, a lot of, like, they just gave me the phrase brimming confidence. So it's like a new sense of self is emerging, and it may be something that you imagined up, right? It's like you visualized this version of you and how that would express itself, again, potentially within relationships and love, but also in how you embody your own spiritual truth and how you experience life in a positive, lighthearted, fun, loving, creative way. You have the 2 of Swords. And I've never seen so much fire in a swords card, yet here it is, because swords are air. And air can really stoke the fire, right? It's like the billows. They help to build the fire up. The oxygen is needed to really turn a little spark into a blaze. So I see something happening here within you. It's like you're making a decision on a course of action, and it is to do with passion in all regards of life. So passion in your art, passion in your play, passion in your love, and how all of those things really tie together with what you are creating and what you're actually seeing tangibly, results-wise in your life. And you have the Queen of Cups. Two queens here really speaks to me of this receptivity. And the Queen of Cups really relates back to house 12, the 12th house in astrology being Pisces, ruled by Pisces, and the Queen of Cups is Pisces. So this is an energy of introspection and intuitive capabilities. Again, the imagination is the psychic realm. And it's through the imagination that we can receive spiritual information and insights, and often they will come through in very creative and abstract ways, because that is how spirit and the subconscious mind communicate, is through symbolism. It is through archetypes. It is through story. It is through imagery and visuals, and channeling those through can be so supportive and so helpful, especially if you're doing it in a fun and creative way, maybe like telling a story or painting a picture or writing a song. It's these types of expressions that help us to see beyond the veil in a more tangible way, because you can look at and touch and feel whatever that thing is. You can watch that movie, you can read that book, you can look at that painting. It's real, it's physical. It's not an intangible idea anymore. It is an actual thing, but it translates for the divine. It translates something that is intangible into something that is tangible. And that's what I'm seeing here that you're going to be doing. This is the good news. It's something that you've had in your mind for a while now, but it's kind of been lingering in the background, and you didn't really know how to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And I'm seeing that whatever this good news is that comes in for you, it could just be a sudden epiphany or realization, or it could be something tangible, because I keep using that word. I feel like that's the key word of your reading, group 1, is tangibility. And how do those tangible things play out in your life, and what is this good news going to look like? I still don't 100% know, so we're going to have to get more information, but it's something very physical and very real that you can see and touch and feel, and it's going to lead to a lot of positive action in your life. And you have open to the universe. I am discovering my worth and my abilities. I have confidence in my value and my potential. I reclaim my inner power and accept and love myself completely. Thus, I am open to the divine light of the universe. So, through your imagination, you can be open to receiving from the universe. That is where you're going to get this information. And I think a lot of it has to do, like I said, with love, with passion, with how you express yourself and how you create within your life. So being open and receptive, which is those queenly feminine energies, whether you're male or female, it's just bringing that energy in is the feminine principle. And being able to express that and take action on it is the masculine principle. So it's a balance of both. And they're reminding me that the card you chose, the significator on the cover image, is the scales of balance. It's the moon and the sun, the moon being representative of feminine energy and the sun being representative of masculine energy, yin and yang. And it's the two within you that help to really create a lot of balance here. And I think that, you're going to have the capacity to make a decision that you maybe didn't before. I get the sense that there was something holding you back. Maybe you felt like luck had, I just heard luck had abandoned you, or you felt like an outcast, like you weren't supported by the universe. And I'm seeing that the universe is going to step in and say, no, we've been here the whole time. Like spirit is stepping in really and saying, no, we've been here the whole time, and we are here to support you, but you have to make the decision to support yourself and to open to what that actually looks like for you. And you have one step at a time. I see the mountain ahead and dedicate myself to taking one small step at a time. I make progress by staying focused on the present moment, the current task. Thus, I regain my ease of living. So by taking one step at a time, you are really placing luck firmly on your side here, because you are embracing and getting the momentum going. It's like you're embracing the inspiration that comes in. You're taking appropriate action as you're called. You're choosing of your own free will to implement these ideas and put them into action. And as a result, you start to gain momentum. Even if there is a bit of a mountain that you're going to have to climb, you're going to pick up the pace, and you're going to get a flow, because they're bringing me back to the energy of flow that's going to help you get to your goal. You're going to scale that mountain a lot easier than I think you expect to, simply because once you get that inspiration going, it's kind of like it fuels you, it helps to boost you and kind of rocket you up the mountain. So it doesn't take quite as much effort as you, I think, perceived that it would or assumed that it would. And you have joy. Like a child, I discover joy in the simplicity of life. Happiness lies in magical moments, not in the material. Even the smallest joy is a great source of light. I love this. It really suits with the rest of your reading, and it makes sense because it's talking about the fifth house energy of children and creativity and how you can express and experience the joy that inspiration brings. And this happiness is the rocket fuel that's going to help launch you up the mountain, because if you do something with joy, guess what? You're going to want to do it again and again and again. And the more that you do this thing, the more of a physical, tangible result you're going to get. But I think that it's really emphasizing here too that, yes, we've talked a lot about tangibility and prosperity in a very physical sense, but it's also, they said happiness lies in magical moments, not in the material. So it's the magical moments that actually help to result in the material, but that's not the goal. That's just a byproduct, really, of the joy that you're experiencing within. It's like the outside circumstances begin to match the inside, because that's how resonance works. That's how the law of attraction performs its function. It's an algorithm of the universe, but that's why they want you to be open to how the universe works and channeling this information through from spirit. Now, I want to get a little more information on this relationship, because they haven't talked too much about it. They've kind of brought it a little bit into my consciousness in this reading, but I don't have too much information right like at the forefront of my mind on how or what this relationship is or how it's involved in the rest of your reading. So I'm going to get some more cards here. Okay, so let's take a look. For group number 1, Spirit, what is this relationship? How is it involved here? You have in your head and 8 of mirrors. Oh, it was upright, but I saw the image and it was upside down, and I thought I had the card upside down, but no, the writing is upright. 8 of mirrors in your head. So it's kind of, I think this is a relationship you've visualized for yourself, or if you're in a relationship now, it's how you imagined the relationship to be at some point. And the imagination can help you to build healthier relationships, because it can help you to kind of play out certain dynamics in your mind and a little bit like work through some of the subconscious emotional aspects of your relationship patterns. But I think that we do have to be careful when it comes to especially 12th house stuff and the imagination and relationships, because what can happen is Pisces is also an escapist type of energy, and it can lead us down the path of something called limerence. And limerence is when we become overly emotionally invested in the imagination of a relationship with no real physical, tangible, again, that's the key word, tangible proof or facts or backing to that. And there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of psychological reasons behind limerence, and a lot of it comes from a deep neglect, because childhood stuff is here. This is getting a bit deep now, but yeah, we asked, so Spirit will give us the answers, whether it's light or not. It's a good news reading, so this is good news. Something's changing in regard to this, but they're wanting to talk about limerence for a reason. And basically, limerence results from early childhood neglect, or any period of neglect that has left you feeling as though you're disconnected and don't have resources within yourself to be able to meet your own needs emotionally. And so what happens is that you kind of use that limerence or that attachment to a person or a relationship or idea of a relationship as an object to distract you, or use it as like a fantasy escapism from the reality of that emptiness or neglect. And there's lots more information on YouTube here that has really helped me understand limerence for myself. And I would highly recommend Heidi Priebe. She has a YouTube channel that talks extensively on limerence. The Crappy Childhood Fairy is another channel that goes a lot into sort of the backing of limerence. And she actually answers letters from viewers and subscribers on their experiences with limerence and helps them to identify where they are limerently attaching to a person, or, as an idea rather than an actual healthy mutual relationship. So there's something here about like being in your own head in regard to relationships. And I think it's going to be kind of coming out of that so that you can actually experience joy in a more physical way for yourself, so that when you do have relationships, they are healthier, because you're not building up an idea of someone and then putting them on a pedestal, but actually keeping them at arm's length because you don't feel comfortable or safe to have them come closer to you and really, open yourself to them in a more authentic way. Let's get some more information though before I really went off on a bit of a tangent there, but it was a relevant one. So, all right. You have the Three of Rings group date. Okay. Where should I put these? You have the Two of Rings, the final two. Look at those scales again, like the card that you chose. So a lot to do with balance here, weighing things up. And that's Two of Swords energy as well. It's trying to find the balance. And I think the blessing here, the good news, is that there's going to be some balance, or that you are achieving some level of balance here, especially as it relates to love and how you imagine that for yourself, or how that actually manifests for you. You have first date, Ace of Rings. Okay. And you have the producer plant. Okay. So if you're single, I feel like using your imagination to manifest the relationship or the type of relationship that you want is possible here, but you do need to make sure that you're not getting too much into the details of that to the point where you're losing touch with reality of what you actually need to be doing physically. It's like if you want to manifest a relationship, but you don't leave the house, you don't talk to anybody, you don't do anything, then the idea of a relationship that you're manifesting in your mind and the physical experiences you're having are not matching. So it's like the scales are really about having that energy be matching on both sides. And with group date here, what I'm actually getting from it is like this idea of, a dog with a bone. Like you're a dog with a bone, you have an idea here and you want it really badly. There's obviously a deep desire here. And I think maybe in the past there was resistance to going after it, or you maybe even felt like you did go after it but didn't get it or couldn't get it. But I feel like there's a potential here, if you remain loyal and you are consistent with your actions, moving towards it one step at a time, there can be a new beginning here in regard to love. And it's somehow related to your creativity. Again, the imagination obviously is part of that. And if you are in a relationship, this is kind of stepping back a little bit to identify where you have maybe, they keep showing me a partner on a pedestal. Like maybe you've put your partner on a pedestal and you've kind of inadvertently emotionally pushed them away because of that. And sometimes we do that because we feel vulnerable, and it does take courage, which is that fire energy. It takes courage to be able to open up and really expose our heart for what it is and accept the other person in that light as well. Not seeing only their good qualities, but actually really accepting and acknowledging the duality within those that we love, because no one is perfect. And it's the imperfection that makes love so real, because if you can love someone despite their pitfalls, while at the same time loving yourself enough to acknowledge when those pitfalls may harm you and to choose not to engage or not to enable those types of behaviors. I don't know why that's coming up, but it is. It can really help you to have a more balanced, harmonious relationship in general, because you are factoring in your needs and acknowledging the reality of the other person and their capabilities or capacity. So it's like you're trying to find the balance, and it's really being provided here. The insight or the inspiration or the awareness is really being provided here. And that's the good news, is that you're gaining a lot of consciousness around this through your creative expression, and how you then apply that in regard to what you're creating. Because I feel like it could be, like relationships and love are one of the most inspiring things. That's why a lot of movies and songs and art all center around love and relationships, because it is one of the primary emotions that we all experience to a very deep level. And it's universal, right? Everybody experiences love. And so it's how that inspires you too. I think, you can really get a lot of creative ideas from relationships that you've maybe been through in the past, or things you've been through in relationships, and how that has helped to shape you or to help you grow or helping you to experience life in a new way. So I feel like love is going to be a major part of how you express this creative vision that you have, whatever it happens to be. And whether it's an actual creative pursuit, or this is just how you are visualizing your love life and then implementing that and creating that into reality in a more sort of interpersonal way. Either way, it's a creative idea, and it's divinely guided. It's most definitely inspired by spirit through you to be expressed in the energy of joy and love. They do want me to grab a couple of charms here for you guys to close out your reading. So let's take a look at final closing messages from spirit in regard to this good news that's coming in for you. Oh, that's interesting. You've got all these little confetti balls. Look how cute they are. Thank you so much to the subscriber who sent these in for us. So you have one with stars in it and one that look like citrine. They almost look like little yellow diamonds, and it's reminding me of citrine, which is good luck. And the stars are reminding me of like a celebration. So I feel like there's going to be some kind of a celebration in regards to relationships and in regard to you kind of realizing something and then expanding or growing out. Yeah, because the oak or the acorn here always reminds me, the acorn always reminds me of the oak tree. It's like the potential in one little seed to grow an entire tree, and even beyond that, an entire forest. So it's the expansion or the growth of an idea and it being implemented one step at a time into something that is going to really, really, really grow into something huge. And you have, oh, this is so cool. I've never seen this one before. You have this little jar with a shell in it. How cool is that? So I feel like something, I just got the word encapsulated. So something that was once encapsulated, meaning that it was kind of sealed up or locked in or in a state of stasis, dormancy, is going to be coming alive again, is what they're showing me. It's like there's a rebirth happening here, and it could be in regard to love. So say, for example, you're in a relationship and things have felt stagnant or there's been disconnection. I think some of that may have stemmed from you putting that person on a pedestal and unconsciously, energetically pushing them away. And it's through this realization and the resparking of this joy and passion within you and rekindling the fire within the relationship that brings you back together and reawakens the love from that dormant state. It didn't go away. It was more encapsulated within each of you. And now it's kind of like the two of you can fan the flames and be reborn together. And if you're single, it's the same thing. It's just that you haven't met this person yet. Or maybe you have, but it's not like it hasn't solidified into something really sort of long lasting and committed. The dogs talk about loyalty too here in the group date. So, you might be still dating around and discovering, who are you wanting to be loyal to or who is loyal to you. Things like that. Yeah, you do have first date here, so and group date. So it's kind of like you're trying to find a balance between, the type of relationships that you initiate and how those things really align with you and what brings you joy. So yeah, group number 1, I see that this good news for you is very much creatively inspired and divinely inspired by spirit, and it's going to help you in your love life. It's going to help you in your prosperity too, because as you pursue these creative expressions, there's going to be tangible things that are going to be things to celebrate. Like citrine is all about good luck, blessings, abundance. Every time that I wear my citrine necklace, which I'm actually wearing right now because I wore it yesterday when I went out to the fair, and that's why I have a little fake tattoo there. I went to the fair and went to a concert, and it was a wonderful first date with myself. I took myself out on a little date, solo date, and it was such a blessing. I had so much fun, and it was like the fun of childhood. Like I just wandered around the P&E and I looked at the animals and I listened to live music and I got myself some sugar donuts. It was just such a nice day. I so had a great time with myself. And that's the type of thing I'm seeing here too. It could be like a rekindling of your relationship with you even. The first date could be with you, which then expands into more. And it's through the harmony that you're creating within yourself, whatever that happens to look like, that is going to really, really stabilize this energy within you and allow this momentum to build to create real tangible, there we go again with that word, tangible prosperity in your life. So that is what I see for you, group number 1. Absolutely fantastic news. I hope this reading resonated and was supportive for you at this point. And it is timeless, so whenever you happen to see it, that's when you were meant to receive these messages. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, you guys. I'm so grateful for you, for your views, your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your comments, your donations of the cards and the charms using the Amazon wish list that I have linked below in the description box. You guys are so awesome. You're blessing me left, right, and center. I'm just so grateful. And thank you to the members who support the channel through your memberships here as well. And if you're interested in becoming a member, hit the join button, which is down below. It should be right underneath the video. If you don't see it there, you might need to go through a desktop or a web page, but it gives you access to ad-free pick a card readings, weekly guidance, monthly live streams with me where you can ask me questions and I can provide insight guidance through tarot and also through my psychic abilities. I'm a spiritual healer as well. So if you guys need energy healing, Reiki, anything like that, I can provide that on those monthly live streams as well. There's going to be tarot courses coming. I just need to get down to business and actually get those going for you guys. It's on the docket. It's just I need to set aside some time for that to create tarot level 1, which is going to be going into all the basics of the traditional tarot. So we'll build from that into more. If you guys are interested, stick around, hit the join button, check out my website. It's tarotandbeyond.com for downloadable content and things like that. And we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 2. Welcome to your good news reading. Let's find out what's coming up for you. You chose the Crown card, so I'm interested to see how that relates. The Crown always makes me think of regality and sovereignty, rulership, leadership, connection to the divine as well, because the crown is a representation of the crown chakra, and that's why it was used to denote sovereignty and leadership through divine right. So let's take a look at your cards. You have freedom. I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. This is so perfect. And even the purple lotus here is relating to the crown chakra. You know, when I worked with clients, I would do soul readings, and we'd look at the blueprint of the soul, and each soul has a particular divine expression or divine gift, if we want to call it that. And those who had the gift of divine freedom, or in other words, divine power, were usually, it was like crown center type energy. That's the archetype of that soul blueprint. And it was very much to do with free will and the creation of one's own reality in a very free way. And the opposite of that was obligation. So I often had to kind of, we would work through some coaching around where there was limitation, obligation, responsibility, or restriction that was really limiting the capacity for free will to be utilized in an effective and functional way for that person. So I'm seeing that good news coming to you, group number 2, in regard to your freedom and how you express it through your will. And that's really what sovereignty is. It's your will. And they just gave me the phrase, your will be done. That's from the Lord's Prayer, isn't it? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So it's spiritual will merged with your individual will, your human will. So it's both. And you have success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. Very true. So this freedom is affording you success here. And it's through love that is going to come about. It's through your love for what you're doing, your love for yourself, your love for the world and humanity in general. I'm feeling a very sort of collective energy from your reading. The crown chakra is very, very high level. So it's not necessarily concerned with the self quite as much. It is concerned with the divine and how all fits together. So that's how this success is going to come about. And this good news is the success, really, is the success that you're building or have built through your freedom and free will choices. You also have a win-win outcome is forecast. I was going to say, I almost said full cast because I was looking at full moon in Libra and my brain just kind of smashed them together. So a win-win outcome is forecast, full moon in Libra. And I always used to tell my clients, you know you're in alignment with your soul blueprint and your divine expression when things are a win-win. When you don't have to sacrifice in a detrimental way. Now, sometimes we do need to make necessary sacrifices. For example, if we want to get healthy, we need to sacrifice our old eating patterns or our old sedentary lifestyle, things like that. But it's a win-win in the sense that you end up with more and it's better for you and it's better for everyone else as well. So again, collective energy. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander is the phrase they just gave me. And I'd never used that phrase before, but I think it means essentially that it's what's good for you is good for everyone around you that you love, because it's an energy that you're giving off is what they're showing me. If you're in alignment, then you help other people to become aligned as well with themselves. And that's not the goal, but that's just a byproduct of your own embodiment. It creates a lot of success within your relationships is what I'm seeing here. And you have the South Node, don't let your past hold you back. So if past patterns, because we were just talking about needing to sacrifice certain things to be, in that energy of win-win and success. So, you might have to sacrifice some old patterns of behavior. The South Node does come with a little bit of baggage in regard to our comfort zone. It's like the comfort zone that we don't really want to leave, but when we do, we really, really grow and we expand. And that's what I'm seeing here with freedom. It's like, do you want to stay comfortable yet restricted, or are you willing to step into your freedom to create the real aligned success for you and the blessings that are going to come along with that? You have, oh my God, no way. You have the South Node twice, group number 2. I mean, Yeah, Spirit is speaking real loud and clear here. They're talking about this release. Yeah, it says, don't let your past hold you back. And then the South Node in this card says destined to release. So you need to release something here. And the good news is that I think you've done it, or you're about to, or you're in the process of doing it right now. You are stepping out of the old comfort zone, sacrificing the things that have held you back, which is really, again, it's a win-win, because as you sacrifice the things that hold you back, you launch yourself forward in such a huge way. And that's where the success comes in. You have the 11th house, friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. Yeah, that's what I was getting there from the crown chakra. It's not like one relationship, which would be more of either like the 7th house or possibly even the 5th house. But the 11th house here is like large groups of people. This is collective energy. And there's sort of a feeling that I'm getting that you're meant to be out in the world, really feeling free, really feeling connected, and getting a sense of success through your group connections or through your connection to the world or humanity in general. I just get this feeling that maybe in the past, the South Node energy could be connected to staying within the confines of your own little box, like staying kind of constricted, or not allowing yourself to be the empowered version of you that can show up in the world and really kind of take charge of your own life. Because again, they're showing me a monarch, and a monarch does not exist in isolation. They rule a kingdom, they rule an empire, whatever that happens to be, but it's involved with other people. And it doesn't mean that you need to step up and start ruling other people. It's just, you need to kind of be a little bit more out there, more open, I think. And the good news is I believe that you've done this, or you're doing it now. And it's creating a lot more freedom for you. It's creating success, because this is what you're meant to be doing. The opposite of the South Node is the North Node. And the North Node is what we're meant to be developing into. It's our destiny in this lifetime. It's what our soul has chosen to develop more of, because we've already experienced enough of what we've, had in the past, which is the South Node energy. And you have yin, intuitive, trust, patience, spirituality, and receptivity. And the sun and the moon here are really standing out to me. And we did mention yin in group number 1. So this does feel like a reference to group number 1. If you felt called to that reading, or if you feel called to it now, I would check it out after this one to see how the messages line up or expand on one another. And you also have water, which is also very yin energy, spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. It's Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces energy, which are also here in this card as well with yin. So yeah, there's a lot of freedom in your intuition. The intuition is that's the word that's standing out to me from both of these cards. So it's finding connection to your intuition and following that, because it's divine sovereignty is what they're bringing me back to in my mind. They keep showing me the monarch, like they're quite literally showing me like a king with like that red and white cape on, or whatever you call it, with the golden crown on their head, standing up on the, not stage, what do you call that, like the step. And it feels like it's through the intuition and the divine connection to spirit that you've been granted this sovereignty in your life. It's your free will to reign and to responsibly embody the power that you are, that free will bestows. You have the Knight of Wands. Okay. You have the Moon. Okay, the Moon is yin, the Moon is water. So definitely the intuition being extremely highlighted here. Let's see what else you have. The Wheel of Fortune. This is a change in your fate, is what I just heard. It's something that you've implemented though, and that's why it's successful, and it's through your own free will that you've kind of put this into action by trusting your intuition to implement new things, sacrificing the old ways that were holding you back. Even if they were comfortable, it's like they were still holding you back from growing and evolving. And so it's like you're taking responsibility and stepping into your own sovereignty in your life, being the ruler, the king or queen of your life and your empire. Your kingdom is that. So I really see this, you're changing the wheel of fortune here, which is your fate, and a karmic cycle, because that's definitely related to South Node and North Node energy, because you've trusted your connection to spirit. You've listened to the divine within you, and you're expressing that. You have the Knight of Cups, 2 knights in your reading, very significant. Knights are messengers. They are action-oriented. They are on a quest, is what Spirit just told me. The knights are on a quest, and they are very noble. So I feel like this is you going on a quest and getting out of your comfort zone, releasing something that was keeping you stuck, and being able to expand and connect with like-minded people through this humanitarian collective brotherhood type of energy, where you're looking at the greater goal, the greater good, which is coming from a place of love. And this will serve you and it will serve others. So if you are being called into a position of leadership, group number 2, what they're saying here is that as you follow your intuition and you take action in an aligned way, both for you and for other people's benefit, it's going to serve both parties. That's a win-win, right? You are getting the success that you deserve, and you're also helping other people on the track to their success as well. So there's a lot to do with how you can kind of serve the whole by being within your own divine freedom. Now you have guidance. In times of uncertainty, I ask God to guide me to the light in my being. I am directed to doors that will open inner freedom to me and step forward in trust. I release my fate to God, and my faith is rewarded. Wow. Yes. So it's ironic because it's when we surrender that we actually experience true freedom. It's when we give up the control or the need for this egoic false perception of control that we actually gain true control. And it's ironic because it seems counterintuitive, but all higher truths are unified and therefore paradoxical in nature. So the more that you can actually release the need for control and surrender it to a higher power, which is the higher version of you. It's not something outside of you. It's not some God in the sky. It is you. It's just an expanded expression of you. That inner guidance helps to free you, and it helps to release these things from the past where maybe you tried to control through your more human will. And now in this lifetime, you're learning to surrender to your higher will. And that is what is helping you to achieve true freedom, both within and without. You have transformation. Wow, I am constantly evolving. I improve inwardly by working on my weaknesses and refining my strengths. Life ensures I'm presented with situations that will help me learn and grow. I am aware of my progress, and I open my wings to the light. So this is evolution. This is the South Node, North Node dynamic. It is all about evolution. I did say that. So this is really the transformation that you're embarking on, or that you're currently in right now. You are achieving success through the evolution of your soul, through these challenging new experiences, because getting out of your comfort zone, yes, it will come with challenges. I'm sure you've already experienced that a little bit, right? And it's okay. It's a good thing because it creates more it creates a lot of good things for you. It helps you to experience and to grow. Sometimes it is a little uncomfortable, but even the uncomfortable things don't necessarily have to be bad. This is a good news reading. So it's kind of like they can be uncomfortable, but good at the same time. And I'll give you an example of something I did yesterday. I did mention it briefly in group number 1. I took myself out on a solo date yesterday, and I went to the fair by myself. And I got some food. I listened to some live music. I went and saw the animals. I went to a concert that night as well. And it was all just with myself. And I looked around and everyone else was kind of in groups or in couples. And I was like the only one who was just kind of there alone. And it was scary for me because I my South Node energy is very much about like kind of staying in my shell and being a little bit kind of codependent. And so doing something so independent, like outwardly and extravagantly independent in that sense, was so scary and uncomfortable, but I actually had such a great time. And I've been doing this for a while now. It's not the first time I've done that, but yeah, over the past couple months, I've been incorporating more of those little solo dates with myself. And I can tell you, it is evolving me. I can feel it at soul level. It's not just a human thing that I'm doing because I think I need to be doing it. It's divinely guided. And I know that because I understand what my soul is here to do, to develop into. And it's been helping me to really feel successful within myself because I feel free. I feel free to do what I want, when I want, how I want, because I'm not asking someone else or needing someone else to come with me. I'm just having fun being with myself. Now, it doesn't have to be that exact example for you, but they're bringing this up for a reason because Spirit always prompts me to use examples when they're relevant. And this could be something that you're being called to, or it could be something completely different, but the idea is the same. It's getting out of your comfort zone, stepping out and releasing things that have kept you stuck to embrace freedom through new evolution and new growth. And you have trust. Yeah, I love that, because trust is what helps us to surrender. This is where we gain our true power. I trust life and my strengths. Each moment guides me to the light. Everything on my path is placed there for my growth. So growth, transformation, evolution, all of it is catalyzing for you through this surrender and this intuitive flow with life. You're initiating it in a very sort of direct, more linear way, but it's through the more holistic, intuitive, flowing nature of water and yin and the moon that is helping you to change this cycle, because it's trusting the divine within you to guide and lead you through every step of your practical daily life. You may even be called to travel or to help to expand the minds of others as well as you embody this for yourself. I'm kind of seeing that too. You could be speaking to large groups of people, relaying stories. I don't know if that's a message for everyone, but it came through and I had to share it. So you could be somebody who shares stories, because I can't remember the name of this particular deity, but they are the Lord of Stories, basically. And I'm seeing you kind of really changing the way that you operate, and it's through this growth and evolution that you're, I think, going to be either sharing that or teaching that to other people, groups. And it's like part of your success is somehow wrapped up in the spiritual lessons that you've learned through this development and how you can share those. That's maybe not for everyone, but if that feels like it's for you, then that's for you. Let's get some charms for you guys, group 2. So let's find out some additional messages here that this good news is bringing in for you, or what this good news is. Okay, I want to see what this one is. Oh, you've got this cute little bear. And I feel like this is talking about, I just heard going after what you want while I was contemplating what does the bear mean here. But they told me it's going after what you want. And now they're showing me a honey pot. Quite literally like the bear going after the honey, and they're showing me like Winnie the Pooh, and you know how he's always like going after the honey. So it's going after what you want, and they want me to put it here on the South Node. So it's like going after what you want in a new way, and releasing any attachments to the old ways of things that maybe at one time you wanted, but now it's a process of evolution to grow into something more. You have this cute little like confetti ball with strawberries in it. Can you see that? And this, it's like sweetness is what I'm getting from this. It just feels like a whole bunch of abundance that comes in all at once. And I think that's connected to success. So I'm going to put it over here on that card. It feels like there's going to be something very sweet that comes in all at once. It's like when it rains, it pours, but in the best possible way, because it's kind of like the the universe's way of reflecting back to you that you are on the right track. And it's not like the universe is rewarding you. The universe, I look at it as like an algorithm that operates based on the construction that God or spirit or source has built. And as you step into your own sovereignty and this freedom that you're creating starts to expand and gain momentum because you're transforming, I think that it's really just kind of a direct reflection of that. It's the reality that you're creating starts to match the work that you're putting in or the energy that you're expending. Now you have these two unicorns. Yeah, two little unicorns here. And I think that they're both speaking of this connection to spirit and to your intuition, because that's the word that they just gave me again. So intuition is obviously important here. They've mentioned it several times in your reading. This good news is coming through intuitively. So I think that it's not going to be like an external good news, like somebody phones you up, rings you up and tells you like, hey, this is something good that's happening in your life. I think this is an intuitive hit that you get, or maybe a series of intuitive inclinations that are leading you in a direction that's more aligned with your soul. And as a result of that, that's where the transformation is happening and the trust is being cultivated and the win-win situation is forecast here. You know, it's forecast because you're creating it. It's like you're creating the weather and you're also the one who's talking about it. Like they're showing me a weatherman. So you're the one creating the weather and you're the one predicting it to yourself, really. It's just different, you know, there's a higher you and then there's the lower you, but not in a bad way, like just the human you. And it's like they're having a conversation, these two, and really there's a lot of benefit that's going to come from that. So yeah, connecting to your intuition is definitely highlighted here. And then you have this really beautiful sea turtle with all of these lovely little gems. So it feels like the sea turtle here is talking about going with the flow, because when I see sea turtles, it always reminds me of Finding Nemo and the really laid back, chilled out sea turtles that are in the, what is it, North Atlantic Current or something like that. And they use the flow to really propel them forward. And I see you getting out of your South Node energy, which was kind of stuck and stagnant, and getting into the flow to the North Node, which is what is helping you to transform they just use the word expedited way. So you're going to be evolving very, very fast. So I want to put the turtle on transformation. Turtles also speak of wisdom here. So you're gaining a lot of wisdom, which is also crown chakra related. It is divine wisdom and connected to that as well. Oh, and I didn't even realize, the pearl here can also speak of like a pearl of wisdom. And it's coming through your intuition, your psychic abilities, your inner knowing, that still small voice within you that is speaking to you through your heart is what they just said. But you have to trust that. And that's where you're kind of being not tested, but challenged a little bit to develop that skill even more. But that's the good news, is that you've been doing that. I can see that. I feel it in your reading. Like you've been listening. You've been acting on those little intuitive nudges or those inspirations that hit. And you've been challenging yourself to break out of old patterns. There's still a ways to go, but you are on the journey. You are questing. You're not sitting at home doing nothing. Even if you are, you're doing this internally, and it's going to match the external. Will match that eventually. So listen to your inner guidance, group number 2, because it is bang on. Like listen to those intuitive nudges or the synchronicities. Pay attention to the guidance that you're getting. And some of that could be confirmed here in the reading. It's probably why spirit led you here, or your higher self led you here. These readings are confirmation. Sometimes predictions can be helpful, but not always, because our free will usually dictates our timeline and our created results. So predictions aren't always helpful unless they support and confirm what our actions and our free will are already dictating. So I like to use for myself readings as a way of confirming and showing me where the synchronicities or the connections lie. And I hope that that's what you're using them for as well, to assist you in really deepening your connection and trust with yourself, rather than becoming dependent on a reading or a reader to tell you what you need to know. That's not the point. It's to trust yourself and your own inner knowing. It's to develop your intuition. That's why I wanted to do pick a card readings, and why Spirit called me to this in the first place, was to help to teach you the power of your own intuition and to guide you through that with symbolism, basically. And that's what they're saying here. That's part of the yin energy. That's part of the water energy, is being able to work with that intuition through the energy of symbolism, trusting and having patience with the process of this as you flow through these new cycles of your life. And take the path of least resistance, because they just showed me a river and it kind of maneuvering around obstacles, right? So it's finding the path of least resistance and taking that. And the path of least resistance doesn't always mean that it's the easiest path, because if it was the easiest path, you'd probably just go straight through that obstacle. But sometimes you do need to kind of careen a little bit around the rock, which takes a little bit of extra effort, even though it is the path of least resistance. Maybe you have to go a little outside of where you expect it to be, but your intuition is guiding you there, and it helps you to express your free will, because you're the one who gets to choose what you do or how you get around that obstacle. I don't know why that's coming up, but there's something here about that. And keep your eye on the prize is what they just said. And they took me back to the bear with like that honeypot idea. So keep your eye on the prize, keep your eye on the North Node. Use the skills of your South Node to help you develop and evolve and transform, but don't allow the South Node to keep you stuck. It's all about the journey here. You're meant to be questing toward this new expanded version of you, this expressed version of you that is much more sovereign. Yeah. So that is what I see for you, group number 2. This good news is fantastic news for you. It is really helping you to experience success through your own empowered free will to create your reality in a very receptive, intuitive, psychic way, where you are spiritually expressing yourself and evolving in this life in a very big way. And it's going to help you, and it's also going to help other people. So, keep up the great work, group number 2. You're right on track. Spirit wanted you to know this and to have this confirmed to you. I feel like you already know this, but it's nice to hear it sometimes too. It's nice to see the confirmation and the validation come from someone objective outside of ourselves in a way that really does kind of help to build that trust. That's what this is about. And this is what these readings are for, is to help you build trust. So I'm sending you guys so much love and support to be able to continue to evolve in this way that you are, and trusting your inner guidance on that path. Thank you so much for being here, supporting the channel through your views, your likes, your shares, your subscribes, and your comments below. And thank you to the members who support the channel through their memberships. And if you'd like to become a member or explore what memberships have to offer, you can hit the join button down below and look at the tiers that we have available. They will give you access to ad-free pick-a-card readings, weekly guidance, monthly live streams, tarot courses, how-to videos, and so much more. So if you guys are interested, check that out. And I'd love to see you there on the member side of the channel and connect to you in a more direct way. So thank you so much, guys. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your good news reading. Let's find out what good news is happening for you right now, or is coming in for you right now. You actually chose the rabbit in the hat, so I feel like it's going to be something magical, something unexpected, maybe something that you didn't see coming. Let's take a look. You have doubt. Okay. I release the need to know all the answers. And when I think of magic and magicians, I feel like there's like a healthy dose of doubt in that. A lot of the time when we see somebody do something magical, we're like, but how did you do it? There's got to be a trick. There's got to be some kind of a secret to it that I'm not aware of. It can't be magic. I'm feeling that energy coming through right away. So I feel like this good news is somehow related to you quelling some doubt that you've had and kind of embracing the magic or the mystery of life. Let's keep going though. You have guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Releasing beliefs centering around doubt. Okay. So the good news is that you are not beleaguered, is the word they just used. Beleaguered. I don't even really fully, I know what that means, but I don't know what that means. So I'm going to research it and I'll put it up on the screen so that we can both really understand what that means in the context of this reading, hopefully. But they're also giving me the clarifying word of assaulted. So you don't feel quite so assaulted by doubt. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, or guilt. All right, let's see what else you have. Look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. And the Sagittarius energy is to do with beliefs. So this is all starting to add up here. I'm seeing the connections between these cards, that as you are shifting and expanding your beliefs and what you believe to be possible, which can incorporate more miracles, is what Spirit is saying, you're releasing some guilt that you've had around false beliefs of the past that were really hardwired in doubt. And there's nothing wrong with doubt. It can be very helpful to be a little bit skeptical sometimes, because it helps us to look for and seek the answers. You know, it was doubt that led me down the path of spirituality, because I said, no, there's no way that can be true. And then I had to experience it for myself to learn that, no, there is something to this. And there is a lot of helpful information and healing. And there's a lot of actually magic that just is science we haven't discovered yet. So doubt can be very healthy when it's being used to spur you into learning. When doubt is unhelpful is when it is preventing you from learning something new. You know, doubt just shutting something down, going into cognitive dissonance and saying, nope, that's not true. When really there may be something more to it that you haven't discovered yet. And that doubt is kind of calling you into action in regard to learning. And you have the North Node step out of your comfort zone. Okay, so yeah, and group 2 had 2 South Node cards, and so we were talking a lot about the South Node and the North Node. So if you're interested in that one, or maybe you came from there, that reading is somehow relevant to yours as well here, group 3. But I'm seeing that this destiny, because that's what the North Node really speaks of, destiny is calling you out of your comfort zone in regard to how you used to think about things. And the good news is that you are stepping out of that. You're starting to see the bigger picture. You're changing or expanding your mind, which is shifting your beliefs and your philosophy on life, and specifically magic and what is possible. What is truly possible, and what is magic? Is it some pie in the sky thing that people made up to make themselves feel better? Or is it something that we just don't quite understand yet? And it can actually be very helpful and empowering to explore the more intricate details of what magic actually is and can do for you. You have house 9, which is the Sagittarius house, and it's ruled by Jupiter. So I love that you have these two energies really confirming each other here. And it says spiritual growth. This is part of your spiritual growth, and that's what the North Node does. It asks you to step out of your comfort zone so that you can evolve. Because the South Node is what we've done in past lives. It's the skills we've developed. It's the things that we've become comfortable with. It's kind of like, you know, the status quo. And the North Node is where our soul wants to go, but it has not necessarily explored it fully yet. And so the South Node is the skills that we can use to implement our North Node growth if we do it correctly, but it's somewhere that we kind of need to release or let go of to be able to explore the new. So let's say, for example, in past lives, you really developed the skill of like religious thinking. Let's use that as an example. Okay, just humor me here for a second. You were very religious and dogmatic, and you were very much focused on the doctrine and the sort of legalities. Is kind of what they're showing me. It's like the paperwork of spirituality, but not necessarily the more intuitive, flowing, magical sides of it. And it was all kind of like by the book, you know? And then in this lifetime, your soul is saying, okay, that was great. We learned all about how to be organized and structured and linear thinking, and at the same time spiritual. Now let's kind of change the script here a little bit and explore the other side of that truth, which is the more magical side of it, the more whimsical perhaps, and what that actually means and how we can work with that energy to evolve. So this is what it's about. It's spiritual growth for soul's evolution. You have the 10th house as well: structure, discipline, life mission, accomplishments, and career. I love it when what I'm picking up on intuitively is confirmed right away by spirit. So yeah, because we were just talking about structure and discipline. And the 10th house is to do with your career too. So it's your career, it's your public notoriety, it's your purpose in life. It's like what drives you to do and to be what you are in the world. So this spiritual growth and these changing of beliefs definitely has to do with your life mission and your soul's purpose. Let me see if I can get these all fit into frame here. Yes, good. Now you have Sagittarius. No way. Look at all the Sagittarius energy here in your reading. Sagittarius, optimism, exploration, and freedom. Yeah, this is definitely related to group number 2 because their first card was freedom. And we were talking a lot about that. So this is freedom to be able to explore and expand your horizons, is what Spirit just said, that they used the phrase expand your horizons. So this is getting out of your own way. I also just heard too, getting out of your own way so that you can fly free. And beyond the doubt is where that freedom lies. It's exploration. It's just, and I even use the phrase humor me, which I never use. And now they're showing me that sometimes if you just kind of like humor someone or an idea, like just give it the time of day just for the sake of it, you might actually change your mind. You might actually come to see that there's something to it. And it's worth exploring because it's going to help you to expand and evolve at soul level. It's going to bring you to information and experiences, because Sagittarius primarily, it learns through experience. Yes, it can learn through higher education too, like through books, through traditional education systems and things like that. Those are more structured ways of doing it for sure. But it primarily learns best through just experience. Like that's why Sagittarius is so related to travel, because travel broadens and expands our minds. It gives us perspectives that we would not have if we did not go to these other locations and maybe even talk to these other people, different cultures, different mindsets, different mythologies, different belief systems, different ways of operating in the world. This is the context that really gives us clarity on what the world actually is and what this life is all about. So it's through exploration and the optimism to be open-minded enough to be able to just humor these types of things so that you can integrate some of the knowledge that's relevant and pertains to you in regard to this soul growth. You have the 8th house, transformation, karma, facing your fears and legacies. Okay. So I think this is where the doubt and the guilt come in. The 8th house is like psychological transformation, and it's breaking free as well from things that have kept you limited or stuck. You know, debts that you've had, karmic things from the past, and even like lineage stuff, like legacies, lineage, things like that, that maybe these were like things from past lives. Like I said, with the South Node influence being the opposite of the North Node, there could have been past life kind of legacies that you built for yourself that became a little bit too rigid and dogmatic, because that was the example that came up. And the examples are always relevant. Spirit shows me those for a reason, because they're contextually aligned with the message they're trying to bring through for you. And this transformation is through facing the fear of trying to do something in a different way that maybe you've never done before. So you don't necessarily have the structure for that. You don't have a template or a blueprint to go off because you're doing it for the first time. But you're going to integrate the information from all of these different sources to be able to build a new structure for yourself. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to cast off structure altogether. It's just you're creating a new one that's a little bit more broad. And that's going to help you to really experience and create this freedom for yourself. So letting go of some of the guilt that has kept you restricted, I feel like that's some of the karma from the past, was feeling guilt. Feeling guilty for not believing, not seeing the bigger picture, judging even. Because I know that, you know, when we don't see the full picture, when we're only seeing one side of it, it's really easy to judge. It's really easy to condemn the opposite side. And I just watched the movie Jesus Revolution, and it was very inspiring. It's based on a true story too. So it's a really good movie. I recommend watching it if you're into it. And, you know, it's really what I took from that was that it's important that as souls, as humans, we learn to open our mind and broaden our perception of what is true based on love. Really, at the end of the day, that's the most objective truth. because everything else is subjective truth. Everything else is perspective and perspective alone. But there are really primary truths, and love is one of the highest ones. So I see that it's through the eyes of love that you can broaden and expand your mind. In that movie, a pastor who was really preaching to a dwindling congregation of his peers in his age group is kind of confronted synchronistically with a hippie, and this is in the 70s, who is preaching the word of Jesus as well. And so they agree on that. But he doubts his methods. He's like, you're barefoot, you're unwashed, and you're just like transient. Like, what is this? And it's like a square and a hippie kind of collaborating and working together to build and actually start a revolution. Christian revolution. And this is a non-denominational channel, okay? So all religions, all walks of faith and belief are welcome here. And that is really what I think the true core of Christianity is about. Like, I'm not Christian, but I think that's the real core of it. Like, that's what Jesus really was preaching about in the first place and embodying it's just acceptance, non-judgment, unconditional love. And that's where I see the doubt really just melting away and your fears being released, because you understand that you don't need to know all the answers. You just need to know love. And if you know love, you can really evolve and expand. And at the same time, that's also going to, I think, be involved with your purpose here. Like, you're meant to be a love leader. Group number 3. And that's a term that I coined because, you know how like there's the buzzwords around like thought leader and stuff like that. I want to coin the term love leader, and I don't want credit for it. I want us to all start using that phrase as a buzzword, because that should be what this age is about. I feel like in the 2020s, we're like the new age hippies, really, in a way. At least I consider myself to be one. And I almost felt like I missed the boat on the 70s. But at the same time, what I realized from that movie today was, no, I'm meant to be here at this time, because it's the relevant information that we can access, even in lieu of travel. Like, if we don't have access to travel, guess what? We can travel the world by watching movies, by surfing the internet, by looking at social media. There's a world literally at our fingertips when we have a phone or a computer in our hands. And I think that is so highly transformational, and it can work for you or it can work against you depending on what you're using it for, because it can instill doubt by creating a lot of illusion or delusion or propaganda, or it can expand your mind and dispel doubt, because it helps you to see multiple perspectives that allow you to really grow outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Okay, long tangent. Thank you for bearing with me. You have the Ace of Wands. New ideas, new sparks of inspiration, new levels of consciousness is what they just said. Yeah, new levels of consciousness that you are activating through curiosity, because that's what I see with the Ace of Wands here in this case for you, group 3s. You're curious, and allow that curious spirit to propel you forward into the unknown, which is what the North Node is. It's unknown territory. And how amazing would that have been to be in the age of Christopher Columbus or any of the world travelers at that time, when there were literally places in the world that had not been mapped or discovered? I mean, they were discovered, but like they weren't common knowledge, And so this idea, again, of like unknown territory and going on this quest or this mission, life mission, to explore and to expand and not to conquer, though. Like, that's the only, negative side, obviously, to what happened with the Columbus type of missions. Yeah, I won't go into that here. But anyway, point being is that you're meant to explore, you're meant to expand, and you're meant to discover these new worlds that are out there and within you. It's both, right? You have the 5 of Cups. I feel like this is where the guilt is. You may have turned away from people in the past that needed you, because there may have been judgment there, or doubt at their intentions, or doubt at their real level of need. I don't know why that's coming up. It feels past life. So like, let's say, for example, if we're using the Jesus Revolution movie as an archetype, we can see, let's say, for example, there were certain pastors or churchgoers who were very, very strictly Christian and very sort of disciplined in that regard. And they would cast out and judge others who did not kind of meet that mold or fit into that category, like homeless people or drug addicts or things like that. And I think that there's some unconscious latent guilt within the soul that you are healing and developing out of by looking at the bigger picture and really actually understanding the karma behind those choices, because we create karma through our actions and through our free will, through our choices in life. We kind of set these things in motion, but there's a purpose to that. It's not just so that we can kind of like beat ourselves over the head with that karma in the next life. It's really so that we can see the higher perspective. Karma helps to give us that higher perspective. We see both sides, and then we can ultimately grow from it. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, group 3, is that you're evolving out of this. That's the good news. This grief and this guilt at making choices from that place of doubt, and the karma that resulted from that is allowing you to create a legacy of love. And that's the phrase. That's another phrase that I want to coin and to create a buzzword around, is a legacy of love. Because I think that that's what we're all here to do, especially as light workers. And if you're drawn to my channel, you're most likely a light worker, because I am one, and that's the frequency I emit. And it's usually law of attraction and resonance that draws viewers to this place. So it's being the change you want to see in the world by being that change within yourself. And I think that it's through this open-minded new perspective that you've been developing into, that is very destined for you and part of your purpose, that you are really building a new legacy for yourself, because they're showing me the house in the background of this card up on the hill. And it speaks to me of like a stable foundation that you're building, but from a higher vantage point. So you can actually really ground into that higher perspective, not allowing it to become too rigid, but having it be stable enough that you can really continue to build on that and expand even more. You have the 7 of coins. Okay. And the devil. All right. So this is definitely breaking free from past limitations and judgments. They keep giving me the word judgment, especially around different cultural beliefs, because that's coming up. Because I like these cards, these particular, this deck, this Tarot of the Divine. Thank you so much to the donor who submitted these to us using my Amazon wish list, which is linked below. I feel like there's, again, past life energy where there was judgment around other people's beliefs, because they're showing me like the Mayan culture here. I just got the word Esperanza. I don't even know what that means. I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's something to do with like different cultures, that there was judgment because you were really very rigid in your own. And it was that sort of closed-mindedness and that doubt that actually thwarted, is the word that Spirit just used, thwarted your growth. But the good news is that we're infinite beings, so we never really stop growing, even when our growth is quote unquote thwarted. Really, that's part of the growth cycle. It's just a much larger growth cycle is what I'm seeing here. And it's part of your divine soul's evolution. So yeah, it's a much larger, much bigger picture that we're looking at here. We're not looking at one lifetime. We're looking at the infinite cycle of your soul. Okay, so this is like multiple lifetimes of development that we're talking about here. And we all go through multiple lifetimes of development. This isn't like just a one-off thing. We're all going through all these highs and lows, ups and downs, different perspectives. We're playing this role, then we're playing the opposite role, and seeing how those two dynamics fit together or how they oppose. It's how we evolve really as souls, is through this dynamic of exploration and trying and failing and trying and succeeding and trying and failing and all of that. It's part of it, and it's all purposeful. You have me. I allow serenity to reign in me. The love I have for myself invites harmony to settle within my being. I listen to, honor, and strive to fulfill the needs of my soul. So instead of feeling guilty or doubtful, it's really focusing on yourself and the serenity within you to be able to embody that love. Really, that's what I see here. It's that love within your being that helps you to feel stable and to honor what has come before without judgment. Again, don't judge yourself. Also, don't judge others. That's the whole point, is the relationship with self is the relationship with others. And so as we start to really meet that unconditional love, which is a core need for the self, we can continue to expand and evolve. And that's the mission. That's the purpose. You have faithfulness. I commit to my mind, heart, and will. I am devoted to the needs of my soul. I trust in myself, in God, and the universe. Both of these cards are really talking about the needs of the soul. Yes, this is a soul level need, and that's why it's a much bigger picture, because it's not just the human experience. It's a soul level need that needs to be met here. And it is to do with your beliefs, your expansion, your doubt, or your faith, and how you apply that through a sense of purpose in your life. And you have here and now. The future does not exist and the past is gone. I focus on the present moment. I have confidence in life again because here, now, there is no danger. Everything happens when my soul is ready. Just beautiful, these messages and how they're tying together. It's, again, the much bigger picture of your soul's development. It's exactly how it needs to be and when it needs to be, because technically speaking, your soul exists outside of the time-space continuum. It exists outside of the time-space matrix. And so it allows for you to operate beyond time in a way that is infinite and that promotes this infinite growth. So everything happens when your soul is ready for it. And your soul is ready. That's the good news. Your soul's ready to step out of this comfort zone. It probably already has begun to. And it's through this exploration of the new that you're already embarking into the unknown and discovering new worlds for yourself. All right, let's get some charms, group 3, to close your reading. Let's get some final closing messages on this good news for you from the charms. Thank you so much to the subscriber who sent in these charms for us. I'm absolutely loving them. Okay. First thing I'm seeing here is the happy face. And I just feel like this positive energy radiating out from this happy face. And it makes me think of that phrase, have a nice day. And I feel like it's like wishing others well and really seeing the positives in other people, other cultures, other belief systems, even if you don't agree with it outright. It's just being open enough to be able to integrate the love within your connection to humanity and to other souls. Because that's really, if you can shift your perspective to me versus them, and instead it be me and them because we're one, because those are just other souls that are here exploring in the same way that I am, it really can bridge the gap and create connection where there once was limitation through barriers. And I want to put it here on the 5 of Cups, which is like a very grief-stricken woman crying here. And so I feel like it's like shifting from this grief and this guilt and this pain into more of an optimistic outlook. And that is what here on the Sagittarius card, it literally, the word optimism is right there. So it's shifting your mindset to experience life in a new way, simply through optimism, which is essentially just open-mindedness. Open-mindedness and intentional positivity, basically. That's how I would describe optimism. Now you have this little flower here with a pearl in the middle, and it's speaking to me of sweetness, and I want to put it on the North Node for whatever reason. So I feel like there's something to do with like a sweet gift or blossoming or blooming that will occur as you're continuing to step through these pathways, or through these doors, I should say, into a more broadened and expanded space. What they're showing me in my mind is like you were in this very finite hallway, and it was a little bit dark and it was very long, but there were multiple doors there, and you didn't really choose to open them because they didn't necessarily match with what you thought those doors should look like, or you didn't necessarily think they were going to lead you in the right direction. But I see you just kind of choosing a door, and as you open that door, it opens onto this vast light-filled room, and it's like a big, huge room with all of these other doors, and there's all shapes and sizes and colors and different things, and they lead to different locations and different times and different cultures and different belief sets. And I see you just kind of like, oh, I didn't expect that, and wow, okay, this is actually fun. I can explore, and I can enjoy exploring, because now that I can actually see it and it's illuminated for me, and I can have fun with the process of this, it feels much more aligned and more purposeful. So that's a beautiful message that they've just delivered through this one tiny little flower. You know, it's like one small choice, they even said this phrase in the movie, because it was in the 70s when this was all going down, but in the Jesus Revolution movie, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. I feel like this is one small step for you, one giant leap for your soul. Yeah. And you have the confetti ball with the pink stars in it. One of the other groups had this. I think it was group 1. I can't remember. But this really feels to me like, for you, it feels like magic. Again, they're drawing me back to the card you chose with the rabbit and the hat. So it feels like this unexpected magic that you didn't see was there. But now all of a sudden, with this broadened perspective and this illumination, you're like, wow, I did not see the magic, but it's been there all along. And it was simply through your willingness to see it that you start to see it and actually get to experience it for yourself. And I want to put that on guilt. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of magic that comes out of that old pattern of guilt. And look at that. I referenced Jesus Revolution in your reading for a reason. Spirit always tells me the things that are relevant to the reading and to the message that they want to deliver. And I always pay attention to what I do right before certain readings, and also what happens during and after, because it's usually all connected. So you have the cross here with Jesus on it. So yeah, I feel like in a past life you were very faithful in your religious beliefs, but it kind of did result in a little bit of closed-mindedness. And I think that there can be truth within religion, but there's also truth within all religions and in non-denominational religions too. So there's really truth in everything. And the highest truth is, are we operating from love? And when religion operates from love, then it is aligned with highest truth. When it's operating from judgment or condemnation, then it's devoid of that truth, or it's kind of gotten away from it in a way. It can find its way back, but it's up to us as individuals to do that. And faithfulness. I want to put it on faithfulness, because this is definitely to do with your faith and your beliefs and how those two kind of fit together. You have a starfish, a little golden starfish. So the starfish here speaks of a couple of different things. Starfish always make me think of attachment, because they kind of sucker onto things. Oops, yeah. It's letting go of attachment, because I literally just dropped it, you know, and the south node is about release, so that you can pursue the north node development. So it's, yeah, you're clearing karma, because it did fall a little bit here onto the 8th house. So you're releasing attachments to old ways of thinking and doing things. And the other message with the starfish is adaptability and transformation, because the starfish can regenerate itself. You know, if it loses a limb, if it's like ripped off or something like that, it can regrow that, which is so cool. Like, I know I've said this in other readings, but like, how cool would that be if we could just regrow our limbs? Like, that's so amazing that there are creatures on this planet that can do that. And that is magic in and of itself. Like, if you had never known that regeneration of limbs was possible, and then you discovered a creature that could do it, you'd probably be pretty doubtful to begin with, because you're like, this breaks the laws of science. Like, how is this possible? But as you continued to study it, you might find reasons as to why that was possible, and that it was true, and that it was real. So it's to do with like doubt being used for inquisitiveness rather than to dispel the truth. Use doubt as a tool to propel exploration. And that's what every good scientist does, and what every good magician does. We explore the ins and outs of what is true and what is illusion, really. You have this black teddy bear. And this has been coming up in a few of the readings lately. And I've only had these charms for a couple of days now. And so whenever there's kind of like repeating themes and symbols that keep coming out, these are collective things that we're working through, especially within this group of my viewership here on the channel. So we're all kind of looking at these themes together and exploring them as one in this sort of more finite collective consciousness within this group of souls. The black teddy bear speaks to me of protection and security. And so when we're talking about the South Node and the North Node, it's like you were kind of using these things as a bit of a security blanket, these faith and these structures, to kind of feel a sense of safety. The rigidity gave a false sense of control, is what Spirit just said. And it was the doubt that helped to kind of protect those walls that you had built for yourself upon the foundation of those beliefs. And that finite faith is what Spirit just said. Yeah, finite faith. And it's through the internal security that you develop through your connection with yourself, because I want to put this on me. It's your connection and your security within yourself, and how the divine within you is infinite and always a part of you. It's not something outside of you. That's the thing. Spirit and God and Source is not outside of us. It's not something that we need to aspire to achieve connection to. It is us. We can't help but be that. We just are that. And we've kind of created such a disconnection from ourselves that we've sought all of these connections to the divine through all of these elaborate structures and disciplines and faiths and aberrations of the truth, really. But there's truth in all of them because they have come from truth and they can return to truth. But it's through the security within yourself that you can really, truly achieve that. And you have a rainbow. The rainbow is the bridge, is what they just said. The rainbow is the bridge. It bridges the beyond with the here and now, is what they just said. Didn't you have here and now? You did. When I channel, I don't look at the cards. I kind of zone out and look out the window. So yeah, they just said that. Yeah, it's the here and now. It's the bridge between, what did they say? Oh shoot, now I can't remember. That's another thing. When I channel, it's like in one ear, out the other. But you guys heard it and you can replay it, and I'll edit it and I'll rewatch it. So yeah. Anyway, something about the bridge between the infinite, the beyond, and the here and now. Yeah, I think that's what it was. So anyway, it's through this connection that you really actually experience faith for the first time, because it's not something outside of you that you're dependent upon through a book or through an idea or through a particular leader or a mythology or anything. It's through you. It is through your connection, through your intimate relationship to the divine, which is you. It's all of us. We are that. And we can't help but be that. We just have to remember that truth and operate from that level of consciousness. So that is what I see for you, group number 3. This is really great news, amazing news that is very much connected to your soul's level of development here in this lifetime. And it's a massive leap forward. They just keep showing me that leaping on the moon, you know? So you are hugely quantum leaping here in regard to your consciousness level, expanding your beliefs, exploring new lines of thought, deepening your faith in a way that is beyond anything that you've experienced in past lives, and really stepping into your purpose, your spiritual purpose here in this lifetime, which is very much to do with your spiritual growth and your beliefs, breaking free from any limitations. All right, that's what I see for you, group number 3. This is amazing. I'm absolutely so overjoyed to be able to relay this message from Spirit to you. I hope that this reading supported you on this journey and your spiritual growth here in this lifetime. That is my highest intention with these readings, is to support you in your spiritual evolution. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys, and helping me to continue to do this work and deliver these messages from Spirit. I am just the humble translator, so it's not me. It's the message. It's you, really. It's the power within you that has called you to this reading, and that has facilitated the delivering of these messages. So thank you for your support of my work here in being the messenger. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting below. Thank you to the members who are supporting the channel in that way. Thank you to the subscribers who have sent in the donations of literally all of the cards you see here. Oh, actually, no, the Moonology, I purchased those ones myself, but all the rest of the cards and the charms on the table are sent in by subscribers recently using the Amazon wishlist I have below. So thank you so much for those donations and contributions contributions to our work here together. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, and if you want to explore memberships, hit the join button below to look at the tiers available to you. It will give you access to ad-free pick a card readings, weekly guidance, live streams once a month where you can ask me questions live on camera, and I provide insight, guidance, and healing, and so much more. So if you guys are interested, check that out. And I would love to have you as a member on that side of the channel so we can connect even more deeply. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.